Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. We'll be going over the changes that need to be made to the Spotify API implementation in our Jammming project, and we will be building upon the previous code in which we were using the implicit grant flow. I will be showing how you can still use 127.0.0.1 without adding the S here, as many of you pointed out that Spotify's recent updates no longer allow the use of URLs that are not secure. Next, we will delve into the PKCE flow, and in the next section, I'll walk you guys through how the PKCE flow works to implement it in our current code. I have updated the README file, so you guys should be able to find this updated readme on my GitHub page, which will be linked in the description below. And I'll also show you guys some troubleshooting steps. So first off, to set up localhost, you have to go to developer.spotify.com, make sure you are logged in, and then go to dashboard. In dashboard, find your app. You can create a new app here. I have already created it, so yeah, it's easy. You just click on this, give your app a name and description. You can just name it anything, it's not important. In the redirect URI, you have to add http //127.0.0.1. As you can see, it's saying that it is not secure, but if you add a port number, it accepts it, and this is the way that you can use localhost or 127.0.0.1 while you are developing your application. After that, you can click Web API, and I understand it, a name. You can save it, and there you go. Here is your application. The next step is changes that need to be made to the current code. So the changes are mainly in the getAccessToken method and adding a few async await keywords to the previous functions, namely the search and save playlist methods. We need these keywords to wait for our getAccessToken method to finish before we can make subsequent requests. And we also need a few helper functions, which are the generate random string and the function that handles the hashing of the code verifier. You don't need to worry about these two functions, as these are also available in Spotify's website. These are the functions, but I am using an updated version of those functions which I got from ChatGPT. So you can choose whichever one you want, but I found these two to be working fine for our code. As I mentioned before, I'll also be adding the link to the GitHub README file where you will be able to find those helper functions. I think those are at step 70. It should be around here. I have not updated the README file yet, so it should be around the steps 70 to 75. Alright, so now for the changes in the Spotify file. So I have minimized the getAccessToken method. If you want to give it a go using the README file, I'm still going to explain all of the steps from the README file. If you had any issues with it, you can come and check it here, and if you still had issues, you can leave a comment down below and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, so going to the README file, we have the Spotify access token method or section. I would suggest that you take a look at these two links. These are two very helpful pages that are officially from Spotify, and it will help you in writing the methods and understanding how the flow works. We will also be implementing the PKCE flow. These are the two helper functions, so they are going to be in step 71. So you don't need to add them inside the Spotify module. By module, I mean this. We can call it an object as well. So the helper functions don't need to be inside this. Use the async keyword because we are going to be awaiting those helper functions at some time. And inside the getAccessToken method, we're going to check if the access token is already true or not, and if it is, we're going to return it. After that, we are going to extract a few values from the URL. We are going to get the value of code and any errors if we have in the URL. The error is not that important, The only thing that we need is the code. And here we are seeing if the authorization code exists, it means the user has successfully logged in and authorized the app. This line means that we have done this. So I am going to reload this page. So we are going to search for something. When we click search, we are asked to authorize it. And here, as you can see, we have a value of code, which is this. If we are able to find a value of code in the URL, that means that that the user has already authorized this application to interact with their Spotify account. So that's why we are going to write a code block to check if code exists or if code is true. If the code is true, which is this code block, then we are going to do these next few steps. Outside this code block means if this value is not true, meaning if we don't have any code in the URL, so that means that we have just opened this app and it's not authorized to interact with our Spotify account. So that is when this block of code is going to run. So we're going to retrieve the code verifier from local storage. We'll generate the code verifier after the code block. We are doing here. We're using local storage.getItem, and we are going to send a post request with these parameters to this link. So if you are wondering where can we get the values or what values should we assign to these parameters, we can go to the official documentation and the section for requesting an access token. We can see the parameters, which is grant type, code, redirect URI, client ID, and code verifier, which are all required. So it's telling you what values you are supposed to give it. After the fetch method, parse the response variable as JSON using JSON method. By parsing means turn it into another form, but we can extract information that we need, which is the access token, the expiry value of that token, and any other information that we might need from that request. To be honest with you, setting an expiration timer is completely optional for this stage. So if you don't set an expiration time, your app would still work. If for some reason it doesn't work, I'm going to show you a few troubleshooting steps. So yeah, this is the code for setting a timer. And if there was an error, you can log a value to the console. So here it is, if neither an access token nor a code is available, begin the PKCE authorization process by implementing the following steps. Now we are outside this code block. Sentence means that we are not authorized to interact with the application. So we are at this stage. So now if I search for something, the code that is going to run is going to be this code, which is, first we are going to generate a string. These are the console.logs that I added before. Debugging purposes, you can remove them. They are not necessary. Okay, so we generate a random code. We get a hashed value of that code verifier and save it to a variable named code challenge. We save the code verifier to local storage for later use. If we don't save the this value in local storage and later on we need the code verifier again and we run this method again, it is going to give us a different value, which obviously its hash is also going to differ and it might generate some problems for us. So it's a good idea to save it to local storage so that the value persists across requests. So after that, we are going to construct the request to Spotify. So if I click search, this request is going to get generated. So I'm going to click search, and here it is. We have the client ID, response type is code, and the redirect URI is 127.0.0.1. So we click agree. We are brought back to the application. Inside the get access token method, it checks for an access token. If we do not have it, it's going to check the URL for the code, and if there is a code, which is right now we do have a code, this code block will run. It will get the value of code verifier, which we set down here, And then we are going to construct a post request, which you can see on Spotify's website, what parameters and values to use. So just keep in mind, we have two different requests. So one of them is for requesting an access token, and we have another one for requesting user authorization. How the PKCE flow works is that we have a few components. So here are the components. We have a code challenge, a code verifier, and a code. So a code verifier is a random string that would be generated by our application, so it's from our end. Then we have a code challenge, which is a hashed version, which in our case we will be using the SHA-256 algorithm to convert this into a string, which would be stored in a variable named code challenge, or which would be called the code challenge. And then the code is a random string that would be sent from Spotify. So how this flow works is that first, when we make an auth request, we send the code challenge to Spotify. Remember, the code challenge is a hashed version of the code verifier that we have stored in our application. So first we send the code challenge. Spotify then sends us the code in the URL. Then we get the code from the URL and send it back to Spotify along with the code verifier. So both of these would be sent back to Spotify in a request. And we also tell Spotify which hashing algorithm we used when we generated the code challenge. If Spotify was able to get the code challenge from the code verifier, then we will get an access token. Last section is the troubleshooting step, and in this section I will be showing you how you might be able to fix any issues that you might face when using your application. Inspect anywhere on your page, go to the console and log out the local storage or check the value of local storage. So in local storage, if you guys remember from before, we saved these variables by using local storage.setItem and local storage.getItem in our code. And sometimes your app might not work as expected. So what you can do is remove these from your local storage. You can do that by typing local storage.removeitem. Maybe now this time we want to remove the code verifier. And now if we once again check our local storage, we don't have the code verifier as we did over here. So if your app was not working, you can try and use this to sort of clear any previous access tokens. I have found this to solve any issues that I've had with my application. So yeah, let's give this let's check everything works one more time. Spotify, and we should have our playlist here. Yeah, this is the playlist that we just created. This has been Cypher, and thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you guys liked this video. If you guys did, feel free to like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next one.